Okay, this is the video for Chapter 3, Activity 1, Part 2. What we're going to be doing here is looking at a bunch of different balls of various sizes and weights and thinking about how we might organize them. So just to show you, make sure that you know all of the different types of materials that I have here. I'll just walk you through each of them. I have a tennis ball. I have two styrofoam balls of different sizes. I have a golf ball. I have a wooden ball. I have a metal ball, like a giant ball bearing. And I have a large marble. And I have a small marble. Okay, so the first thing that you're asked to do in this activity is think about how you might order these based on their size. Okay, so that one's pretty easy to do with sort of just eyeballing it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that very quickly on my own, and then I'm going to show you the organization that I came up with. I'm going to start with a small marble. Then we have three that are like roughly the same size. And if I look at them closely, I think I'm going to go ahead and put them in this order: wooden ball, metal ball, large marble. Then we have the golf ball. Then we have the small styrofoam ball. Then the tennis ball, and then the large styrofoam. So we end up with a series of balls that look like this, going from the small marble to the wooden ball, to the metal ball bearing, to the glass marble, the large one, to the golf ball, to the styrofoam ball, to the tennis ball, to the large styrofoam ball. And that's how I would order these based on size alone. I know these three are a little bit hard to distinguish, but that's my best guess without actually measuring these objects. Okay, so the next thing that you're asked to do is to reorder these, but instead of using the size of the objects, you're asked to reorder them based on their relative weight. You don't actually have to do this by weighing them. If we were meeting in person in class, you wouldn't have to get out the scale and measure them. You just do it sort of by feel. So I'm going to go ahead and reorder these by feel. It might take a little bit longer than size because it's not quite as obvious. But we'll start with our small marble here and sort of compare it to the wooden ball. Okay, so the glass marble, even though it's much smaller, it feels lighter than the wooden ball to me. So I'm gonna put the wooden ball at the start. Then we have this metal ball bearing, definitely heavier than both of those. Next we have our glass large marble. If I compare this to the small marble, it's definitely heavier, but the metal ball bearing feels heavier than the glass marble. Next we have our golf ball. The golf ball, it doesn't feel too heavy. It's definitely lighter than the metal ball bearing. Compared to the glass marble, it's hard to tell by hand. Again, we're not going to measure, we're just going by feel. I'm going to say it's a little bit heavier than the glass marble. We have our styrofoam ball. It's very light. I would say it's even lighter than the small wooden ball that we have. Our tennis ball is lighter than the metal. I think it's lighter than the golf ball. I think it's even lighter than the large marble. It's definitely heavier than the small marble. And then finally we have our large styrofoam ball. And the large styrofoam ball feels very slightly heavier than the small styrofoam ball, but it's definitely lighter than the wooden ball. So our new order of balls, if we go by relative weight, just judging by, my feel, would look like this. So we start with our lightest ball here, the small styrofoam ball. Then we move to the large styrofoam ball. a wooden ball, the small marble, the tennis ball, the large marble, the golf ball, and finally the metal ball bearing.